The Prime Minister returned from his state visit to the US, complete with a lavish dinner and numerous photo opportunities with the President. Next, he'll be travelling to China as the first Australian Prime Minister to visit in 7 years, despite Australian citizens remaining detained in the communist country under dubious charges. He'll then head to the Pacific Islands before again returning to the US for more diplomatic summits. So as he prepares to jet off yet again, we are left to deal with the possible rate rise from the Reserve Bank next week, a rental crisis that sees vacancy rates at their lowest levels, record numbers of migrants putting strain on healthcare and housing, and a housing cost burden at a 40-year high. So the question is it time the Prime Minister puts down the passport and starts doing something at home? Well, to discuss, let's bring in Sky News contributor Joe Hildebrand and Director of Headline Advisory, Andrew Carswell. Welcome to you both.
G'day, Sharri.
Of course, this first trip overseas came right after The Voice. Joe, yep. So do you think Albanese is doing enough to tackle problems at home? And I didn't mention there the problem of anti-Semitism, but of course that is a major one that I personally don't think the Prime Minister's showing leadership on.
Well, look, I think he has been unequivocal in saying that he is firmly against Hamas. He was pressed on this when he was in Washington, and they said, it doesn't look like your government's taking sides here. He was being accused of being too pro-Israel, if you like. And he said, yes, I am taking a side. I'm taking a side against Hamas. And he was very, very strong on that. So I think he has been pretty clear. Others in the party, I'll grant you, have been far less so, and that is disappointing. Look, he has to do these things. I mean, again, we're talking about the Israel question. Israel only exists because it's got America standing behind it, which gives you an indication of how important American solidarity or being allied to America is. Australia, of course, would not exist in its current form were it not for America. We would be a colony.
Well, Israel does have its own ability to defend itself.
It absolutely does, and it's fought incredibly well, as we know, in the Yom Kippur War and the Six-Day War, and of course the War of 1948, where it established itself. But again, it is in very large part that it has Israel standing. That it has America standing behind it, that it's got those two aircraft carriers there. That means that the entire Middle East doesn't just jump on top of it. So it is. So that is the first thing to say. So these relationships are extremely important. Australia is in not a similar situation with China, but we know that there's been Chinese aggression and belligerence. We also know that it's hashtag it's complicated because they are our largest trading partner, and if they cease to exist, our economy would collapse in its current state. So we need to have that balancing out where we have a good, strong economic relationship with China, but that it's backed up by a strong security relationship with the US, who is our most important ally by a country mile. And that means that we can then take a stronger line on China on their human rights abuses